Welcome to Behind the Research, where we go behind the latest research from the Journal of Financial Planning. I'm Ben Lewis, and today I'm joined by Dr. Preston Cherry, Assistant Professor in the Financial Planning Program at the University of Wisconsin Green Bay and President of Concurrent Financial Planning. Preston, along with Drs. Sarah Acevedo and Blaine Pearson, authored the latest research in the August issue of the Journal of Financial Planning titled Personality Traits and Annuity Adoption: Unlocking Behavioral Insights of Retirement Income Strategies. The study explores how personality traits influence annuity ownership among older Americans, addressing the long-standing annuity puzzle. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore what inspired this research. Now you can apply it to your work with your clients. Thanks for joining me, Preston, and welcome to Behind the Research.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
It's great to see you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's good to see a friendly face.
Absolutely. So, Preston, let's start with the why behind the research. What were you seeing in the profession or the broader landscape that made you and your co-authors believe this research was needed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the clients that I serve over my career have different, relationships with money. And so, people's narratives are always in their statements. I always say that there's stories in statements when you look at people's financial statements. And you can find a little bit more about them as you look at their documents before you even ask the questions. So, more and more people personality and who they are, what they value most, comes out through the documents and the conversation. So you want to explore, Ben, the relationship to money, what their thought processes are, what their perceptions are, what lens do they see life and money, in order to help them with their journey, with their life and money. And what we've seen was, well, if we know a little bit more about how folks approach their life and finances through their own personal identity, then we can better make suggestions and recommendations on the strategies that we communicate with them, and even how to communicate with them to where they want to go. And if they reveal more of this, then we can better align their life and money in the way that they want.
So, when you were conducting the research, were there any surprises that you guys uncovered or found?
Well, the personality traits they're all called the ocean traits. So you got openness, conscientiousness, extrovertness, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And so these areas have their different word descriptors. So conscientiousness was a positive association, meaning far as how people relate to longevity protection, not necessarily trying to make a pitch for go out there and buy an annuity. I mean, it works for some. It depends on the household. But how do you approach? How does one approach the risk of living too long or outliving your money? That's the question that we're entertaining. And conscientiousness has these descriptors that being, disciplined, efficient, risk averse. So that would align positively, of course, with the approach towards not outliving your income. That said, openness was a surprise. So openness is like imagining. It has the words like fantasy, imaginative. You can see things. So one of the drawbacks about money, as you well know, is folks have trouble seeing their future selves. And I thought that, and we thought that if folks have an imagination to be able to connect with themselves in the future, then perhaps they would see this longevity risk better and better associate with it. But it wasn't a strong association.
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about the impact of the research. What do you most hope FPA members are going to take away from the research when they read it and apply it to their practices?
The most important part, Ben, is to having a willingness and a want to learn more about who they're serving. All right. I always say that if you open up the heart, then you open up the mind. And this is what the pathway to financial wellness. And if you jump out there with just strategy and all this jargon right off the rip, then folks are going to turn that off because you didn't ask questions that touch their heart, right? So if you learn more about folks, about their values and their perceptions and their their beliefs and that ultimately leads to who they are as a person and their identity, then that information can unlock all the financial strategies that you want to recommend after that. And folks will be more apt to listen is because you asked about them first. So that's what personality is all about. It's just one more question in your tool belt, or one more approach that allows you to dive a little deeper into the person that you're serving.
Absolutely. And is there a key action or message that you want to personally highlight from the research?
Yes, I want to just, and the team said this too, which is to have better connections with the people you're serving, and for advisors, right? For advisors to have different avenues and mechanisms and frameworks in order to encourage or unlock these investigative conversations, to dive a little deeper. I think that's the most important. When advisors have these tools and to speak with folks and not necessarily to, and then the stories start coming out and their perceptions start coming out, then with better alignment, they have better stick-to-itiveness to their plans because they feel better understood and they can see themselves in their plans. Then they'll commit and also stay with their plan because they see themselves in it.
That's great. Well, listen, Preston, thank you so much for your time today and for helping us go behind the research. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Excellent. And I just want to tell everybody that you can find this research and all the great information, all the other great information in the August issue of the Journal of Financial Planning, which is now available to all FPA members. You can simply scan the QR code on your screen or visit fpajournal.org. That's fpajournal.org. And thank you for spending a few minutes with us. We'll see you next time on Behind the Research.